Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a project, worked late nights, and gone the extra mile, only to have your manager completely ignore your efforts? It feels like you're invisible, right? I know that feeling all too well. For years, I was stuck in a job where my hard work was consistently overlooked. But today, I want to share the story of how I turned that frustration into the biggest career win of my life. This isn't just about getting a new job. It's about finding a place where your value is finally recognized. I used to work at a mid-sized marketing agency. Let's call my manager Mark. On the surface, Mark was okay. He wasn't a monster, but he had this incredible talent for taking credit for everything good and deflecting blame for everything bad. I was on the digital marketing team, and I loved my job. I was passionate about analytics, creating campaigns, and seeing the results. I wasn't just doing the bare minimum. I was actively looking for ways to improve our clients' performance. I remember one campaign in particular. It was for a major client, and their sales had been flat for months. The whole team was stumped. I spent an entire weekend, unpaid, digging deep into their customer data. I found a tiny, overlooked demographic that no one was targeting. I built a whole new campaign strategy around this group, created the ad copy, designed the visuals, and presented a detailed plan to Mark on Monday morning. I was so proud I knew this could be a game changer. Mark glanced at my report, nodded, and said, "Okay, leave it with me. I'll see what I can do." That was it. No thank you, no good work, no interesting idea, just leave it with me. A week later, at the Alhan's meeting, the CEO was congratulating our department. The client's sales had skyrocketed by 30% in a single week. The CEO specifically mentioned the brilliant new campaign strategy and who was standing up there, taking a bow. Mark presented my slides as his own, my data as his discovery, and my strategy as his brainchild. He didn't mention my name once. I was sitting in the back of the room, completely deflated. My colleagues, who knew I'd done the work, just gave me sympathetic looks. It was humiliating. This wasn't a one-time thing. It happened over and over. I would optimize our ad spend, saving the company thousands of dollars, and he would announce it as his cost-saving initiative. I'd develop a viral social media concept, and he'd present it to the client as if he'd been up all night brainstorming. I tried to speak up a few times. I'd say things like, "Oh, I was happy to contribute to that project," or "Yes, that was the data I found." But Mark would just smile and say, "It's all about teamwork," effectively silencing me and absorbing all the credit. The annual performance reviews were the worst. Year after year, I'd get the same feedback meets expectations. I'd bring a folder full of my accomplishments, data showing my impact, and emails from happy clients. I'd say, "Mark, I increased engagement by 200% on this account," and he'd reply, "Yes, but you need to be more of a team player." What he really meant was, "You need to stop making me look like I need you." The promotion I was working towards always went to someone else, usually the person who was best at flattering him. I started to feel hopeless. My confidence was shot. I began to question my own abilities. Maybe I wasn't as good as I thought. Maybe my ideas were just okay, and Mark was the one who polished them into something special. This is the real danger of a manager who doesn't recognize your work. They make you doubt your own worth. My passion for my job started to fade. I was just going through the motions, feeling like a ghost in the office. The turning point came during a particularly stressful week. We were about to lose a huge client. Everyone was panicking. I pulled 2 all-nighters, completely overhauling their entire digital presence. I fixed their broken website, launched a new targeted ad campaign, and personally managed their social media crisis communications. It worked. The client was thrilled and decided to renew their contract, even increasing their budget. The agency saved a massive amount of revenue. The next day I was exhausted but felt a glimmer of hope. Surely this time he'd have to acknowledge what I did. I walked into his office and he was on the phone, laughing. He saw me, put his hand over the receiver and said, "Great news. I just saved the Miller account. The CEO is taking me out for a celebratory lunch." He then turned his back to me and continued his call. Not a single word of thanks, not even eye contact. In that moment, something inside me just snapped. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. I went back to my desk, opened my laptop, and started updating my resume. I realized that waiting for him to see my value was a losing game. I had to find someone who would. The job search was scary at first. My confidence was still low, but as I started writing down my accomplishments, I had a revelation. I wasn't just meeting expectations. I had single-handedly saved major accounts, generated millions in revenue for clients, and created award-winning campaigns. Mark hadn't done those things. I had. My resume was actually incredibly impressive. I started applying for senior manager roles, a step up from my current position. I thought it was a long shot, but I had nothing to lose. I got a call from a competing company, a much larger and more respected agency. The interview process was intense, but it was also exhilarating. For the first time, people were asking me detailed questions about my work. When I talked about the time I saved the Miller account, the hiring director didn't just nod. She asked, "What was your specific methodology? How did you identify the core problem?" They were genuinely interested in my process and my thinking. They saw the value in my skills, not just the final result. When they asked why I wanted to leave my current job, I was honest but professional. I said, I'm looking for a company with a strong culture of recognition and growth, where I can take on more leadership responsibilities. I didn't badmouth Mark. I focused on what I was looking for in the future. 2 weeks later, I got the call. They offered me the senior digital marketing manager position. It came with a 40% salary increase and a team of my own to lead. I accepted on the spot. Walking into Marcus' office to give my 2 weeks' notice was one of the most satisfying moments of my life. He was completely blindsided. But, why? He stammered. I was thinking of you for a promotion. ... Eventually I just smiled and said, I found an opportunity that's a better fit for my career goals. The look on his face was priceless. Starting the new job was like breathing fresh air for the first time in years. My new boss, Sarah, is the complete opposite of Mark. In my first week, I suggested a small tweak to a campaign. She said, that's a brilliant idea. Run with it. Let me know what resources you need. When it succeeded, she sent a company-wide email congratulating me. I was shocked. It was such a small thing, but that public recognition meant the world to me. 6 months into the new role, I was leading a major project that my old company was also competing for. Because of the trust and resources my new company gave me, my team and I put together an innovative data-driven pitch that blew the client away. We won the contract. It was the ultimate validation. I hadn't just survived after leaving my old job. I was thriving. I was promoted again, this time to director, just 1 year after starting. Looking back, I'm actually grateful for my experience with Mark. He taught me a crucial lesson. You cannot let your sense of self-worth be determined by someone else's inability to see it. If you are in a situation where your hard work is consistently ignored, don't wait for things to change. Don't shrink yourself to make your manager feel bigger. Your skills are valuable. Your contributions matter. Sometimes, the bravest and most powerful thing you can do is to recognize your own value and find a place that will recognize it too. Taking that leap was the best decision I ever made. So if you're feeling invisible at work, start documenting your achievements. Update your resume. See your own worth, even if your boss doesn't. Your next great opportunity is out there waiting for you. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If this resonated with you, I'd love it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Leave a comment below if you've ever had a similar experience. Let's support each other. See you in the next video.